Are you listening to rock at this time too? I mean, are you into that?
Heavily. So I grew up on rock and roll, classic country.
No kidding.
Garth Brooks, Reba McEntire. like
the real popular shit that was around that time.
Yes, exactly.
Garth Brooks was huge.
Man,
my dad, man, Papa Moo loves some Garth Brooks. He had the old video player. My mom bought him for Christmas, and I remember coming down so many times. I'd be like, "What are you watching at 3 a.m? Garth Brooks." And man, love Garth Brooks, Paula.
Yeah.
Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Level Up Cleveland. And this week, we have the guys in here from Family Ties, a couple of them at least that made it in here today.
Yeah, 2 of 4.
Two of the 4.
Yep.
We got Mr. Eli Moon.
How you doing?
Man they call Moon.
That's me.
And we have King Paula.
Yo, what's going
From
on?
PA to LA.
Yes, got to make sure they know.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah. Thanks for coming in, guys.
Thank you for having us.
Absolutely. Happy to be here.
The 2 other guys in Family Ties, and we'll get into what that is Narr8r. And if people remember, Narr8r was in season 1. I believe it was episode 6 or 7. One of those right in there. And we had him in with Gold Life Dynasty. And that's his brand, basically, that he does over there with the studio and all that stuff.
Yes.
This is something a little separated from that because if we remember, Narr8r's also an artist. And he also does his own thing in the music world. I mean, he does a lot of different things. He's got his hands in on that guy. And you also have Vyse.
Yes.
He's the 4th member of the Family Ties thing. Mm-hmm. And let's talk about that. Let's talk about what Family Ties actually is first and get to that so people understand what we're talking about when we say Family Ties. What is that?
Yeah, so Family Ties. So really, it's crazy because I met Paula when I first started making music. I had maybe made music for 3-4 months, dropped a few songs, and I wanted to start doing shows. Paula was doing a show with my buddy Joey James at the time, and he was like, hey, come check out my show, my buddy Joey at the time. So I go and check out the show. I had like such an itch to do music and like go out and do this. I hit Paula up after the show. I'm like, hey, how can I get on the next show you guys are doing? He said, stay here. Went to his truck, comes back with 10 tickets. Said, sell these, you can get on the show. So I did the first show, one of my first shows with Paula. And then we kind of started just doing our own things. I hadn't talked to him a ton in the last couple of years. And then that's kind of where I've been working with Narr8r the last 2-3 years. He's been producing everything and doing everything for me in that regard. And he's my manager in that regard as well. So he and I were working on a ton of different music. Paula hit me up, and his management hit me up, and he was like, hey, we have a show going on at the Odeon Lounge. We're trying to really get this popping in like June. It was June or July. And I said, okay, I want to do this. Let me see if I can get Narr8r on the card too. They said, that's perfectly fine. So we went and did this show. And it's kind of funny the way it happens because there was supposed to be 8 or 9 artists on that show, I believe, Paula.
Yeah.
And we ended up with like 3 or 4. We had like a guy who opened and then like me, Narr8r, Paula, and Vyse. And I didn't even know, like, we didn't meet Vyse or anything like that. He just happened to be on stage. And I'm like, who is this performing? And then we talked after and kind of figured some things out. Paula, I mean, if you want to expand upon it more, but yeah, I know you kind of like, it was something cool that you saw that night and you hit us all up. I didn't even know until after the show because you hit us up Sunday, and Sundays usually after the show are like, I'm not waking up till 12 or 1 because the alcohol is flown through my body and I don't drink a ton. So when it's flowing, it's flowing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Paula, I know you really took an initiative on building this Family Ties.
Yeah, no, like after witnessing what happened, after seeing all 4 of us come together on stage, and it happened organically, just like you said earlier. But when I saw that happen, I was just like, yo, there's no way that we can push forward anymore by myself without any of these guys around. Like, it absolutely has to happen. We have to bring this together. Everybody's from their own little world. Well, let's bring those little worlds together. Let's create this huge world,
Yeah.
And let's operate within this, Let's use our connections. let's use our producers, and everything that they have access to, and that's part of the reason we're sitting here today, because Narr8r, set the things up, and now we're here,
Cool.
So but it's really collective, of just everybody's music genres, and their connections, and bringing that together and utilizing all of that to really push forward our individual brands as a unit.
Do you think like when you see the world that's out there today, especially like the artists that are out there today, and everyone's in the me thing, you really got to shed that to do what you guys are doing, right? I mean, it's in one way it's still about you, but you're willing to give up some of it because it's more of a collective one at this point, right? Is that how, would you describe that as accurate?
That is very accurate.
In order for this to work, you gotta shed some pride, and you gotta
humble yourself
a little bit, right?
Yeah.
For the greater good.
Exactly.
But here's the thing though, is like Paula is a very humble guy. I mean, to be honest, him and Narr8r, and Vyse, like, we're all very unique in our own different ways, but we all have a humble nature to ourselves. I mean, like, I work with Narr8r every single day. I've called him at 6 in the morning. I've called him at 1 in the morning. So
yeah.
I talk to him all the time. But he's probably the most to the ground, like, humble human being I've met. And then I meet Paula, and I'm like, man, they might be 1A and 1B in terms of just humbleness. And that's a big thing that, like, I was able to sacrifice a lot. Like, don't get me wrong, everybody loves the spotlight, but you see in music that usually groups are stronger together. You have collectives, you're stronger together. So I have no problem sacrificing a little bit of glory so these guys can get their share of the pie and we can share it equally. So,
well, when you're talking about being like humble and stuff like that, one thing I noticed about you is that you put up a lot of clips up on Instagram.
Right.
And with the hair and the beard and the message, I'm like, I'm watching Jesus here. Like, I'm sitting there and I turn it on and I'm like, your message is overwhelming and you're always happy and positive. You're trying to spread this positivity around all the time.
Yeah.
So you're like the perfect guy for an operation like this. I don't know King Paolo as well. I don't know you as well as I know what he does, but I can just get the sense from you guys that you guys are like that. You guys are just people that are always trying to share joy and happiness, and screw all the drama and all that kind of stuff. Am I right? Is that what it is?
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing: is like Paula, like, when we were trying to figure out the order, we did a show back in October at the Odeon Lounge. We were trying to figure out the order for the show, and I'm one of those guys where it's like I'm weird. I like having a different song order if I'm going a certain time. So I'm like, hey, am I going third or am I going second? Where am I going? And Paula goes, I don't care how we do this. I'm going first. I don't care who goes first, I'll do it because, I guess in the music world, opening is a fun thing, but also a thing where maybe you don't want to do it every single time.
Yeah.
Pilot didn't care. He just jumped into it. He's like, I'll open and Moon, you're closing. I said, okay.
Yeah, so, right. Well, there's a lot of confidence in this game that you guys are playing too, because, like the one thing about performing with other people is, like we talk about this all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know how you guys think about this, but I would assume that even though you guys are close and you're tight and everything, each time you go up there, you want to blow the other three off the stage, and no matter how cool it is, it's like any time there's other artists up there doing what you're doing, it motivates you.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It motivates you. And if you're the first guy up, you really got to bring it, man. You got to bring it because you got three guys after him, and then when you bring it, then these guys are like, well, shit, why do we let him open? Because now we got to beat that, right? I mean, is this how it kind of plays out?
Hey, I'll tell you this. King Paula's biggest fan is my dad. So if I have to go after Paula at our shows, and Paula's already went, if my dad's jamming, Narr8r Handouts, shout out Narr8r Handouts, that's Paula's record that's on iHeart being spun everywhere on 96.5 and 106.1.
What's it called? What was it?
Narr8r Handouts.
You got a single out there is what you're saying? Yeah, really? Is that right now it's up?
Yeah, it's out there right now, getting traction across the iHeart platform. We just broke a record here in Cleveland since 2016, and the record was Q Money's Neat. At that time, no other artist independent has ever crossed platform from 106.1, the hip hop and rap, hip hop R&B station, over to the pop station.
No kidding.
The top hit station. So, Yeah, no. So it's a huge feat.
It is. That's cool, man.
And I honestly didn't even understand or even grasp.
It wasn't something you were trying to do.
Exactly. It just completely out of the blue. Like one of the DJs happened to hear it, and he threw it on one of his sets.
That's sweet.
During the while he had his time. So it just happened organically, and then I got a call from Tony Ferguson, and I heard like, hey, just to let you know, this hasn't been done since 2016. So you're stepping into, a space all of your own right now.
Yeah, right.
So,
That's cool.
so it was a special moment, and I'm still trying to find a way to grasp it and live with it. But at the end of the day, things don't change. We're still grinding. I still got to try and go out and be the best me every day, and spread as much love and positivity as possible. And, my story is to be told through pain, and I hope that my pain and all of that, is an opportunity for all my fans and anybody out there listening, to release and let go and let me go through that so that they don't have to,
That's cool. That's real cool. So with Narr8r in the group, in the thing, the Family Ties, I don't know what you call it. It's not a group, a band, whatever.
Collective.
But
It's like a collective.
It's a collective.
Yeah.
Does he produce everything? I mean, do you guys have the luxury of, since he's in the band, do you have him then he's also...
I look at it like Marvel, or I guess Marvel is that Avengers. That's the,
exactly.
Okay, I'm not great with superheroes, but I like superheroes. Narr8r is my producer. That's who I work with exclusively. Paolo works more so with Trey Smith.
Yes. Okay.
That's exclusively his producer more so. And then
Vyse also has a producer.
So 3 different producers.
Yes,
Right.
exactly. So, and those producers are also, and we have a little group chat going, called Family Ties as well, and just change it over to Creative Kings. We're just getting out
just
there.
playing around, right?
But yeah, no, everybody's got their own producer. And then Narr8r is truly he's the standalone, because he not only produces, but he's also the artist as well.
Yeah.
And now Trey Smith, he's also, producer, artist, DJ, engineer. I mean, the kid does it all. He's connected everywhere. So, really big things coming from him. So to have him and Trills and Narr8r a part of the team, it's just so big, especially being an artist that wants to create and, really express. And having these guys around us makes it so much easier for getting through that process.
With what you guys are doing, the kind of pop music you guys are doing, and stuff, the kind of, you guys are taking hip hop and rock and punk and all these different kind of flavors, and you're kind of creating all this stuff. When you're doing that, though, even though you're a good artist or whatever you are, the producer has a lot to do with these songs when they're coming out. There's so much going on with where they add things and they bring things up to you that you're like, oh, yeah, that's a great idea, that kind of thing. They're producers, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So now you guys have this group, this collective.
Yes.
Right.
Does that bring the producers together also? Do these 3 producers now, does this kind of where it's not just you 4, but it's you 4 plus the others that are involved with each one of you now are all, it's like a huge collective.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, for instance, the other night, Paolo, I called him up I said, hey, what are you doing? He said, I'm about to get in the studio. I said, okay, that sounds great. Can I come with? So he came and scooped me up. We sat there and just chopped it up, talked about some other things. And then we got in the studio and we started working on a beat produced by Trey Smith. So we can do that, whereas we started working on a track called Energy, more so going to be dropping that in 2023. Looking to gear up and drop that track. Narr8r produced it and was on the track as well. Obviously, Family Ties is on that track. So, we just have a lot of things in our arsenal where, Trills wants to start giving us beats and start working on things with Vyse. But each producer brings something different to the table that's unique, and that's dangerous in itself. And then you have 4 artists that are dangerous in themselves. And so, I mean, it's a pretty scary unit for 2023.
Yeah. What about a collaboration, where you guys putting something together where you're all on one song or all on one recording? Have you guys talked about that?
Yes. Energy is a track that's going to come out here soon, and that features all 4 artists. And then we also want to incorporate getting the producers involved. So with that aspect, we have to do multiple songs, because this beat was completely produced, mixed, engineered by Narr8r himself. Actually, him and I sat there and we cooked the beat right there on the spot. And then that night it went up in the message board like, hey guys, the song's in there. Everybody write, everybody get creative, So the goal is to really get, an album's worth of music collectively, and then not only have that, but our own individual catalogs to shop while we're out taking this on national tour potentially next year.
Sweet, yeah, right. So what have you guys done so far live? Have you guys done?
Yeah, we've done a few shows. So we did one in my summer months get so messed up because I think July is like the longest month because my birthday's at the end of July.
Me too.
Heck,
20th.
Oh, so you're not a Leo?
No, I'm Cancer. Yeah, sorry about that.
Right.
They actually call me Cancer Leo. I'm on the cusp.
Okay.
I'm not really into this shit, but I've been told.
Hey, my girlfriend got me into. I've been with her for 2 years, and she, my girlfriend Skyla, she goes, "Have you ever done spiritual learning about the horoscopes and long story short, now I'm a spiritual guy."
She got you in.
Yeah, but no. So we did a show in June or July. That's when we all came together, and then we did October 1st was the show branded as Family Ties. That's the show Paula, myself, Narr8r, and Vyse did. We did 20 or 25-minute sets.
Yeah.
And we just had a great time. It was
How'd the good turnout to me? Are people showing up for these things? Is this just already starting to catch on?
Exactly. And the main thing that we wanted to stray away from when we decided to do that show is that we didn't want any other openers. And no other we want to showcase that Family Ties. That's it. If you want to come out and see some dope ass music, that's what you're coming to see. As advertised.
It's almost like what comedians do, how they tour together. There's a pack of them, and it's always them. It's like wherever they're at, it's just those four. That's what you're seeing,
And I think, you see a lot in Cleveland, and this is no shade, because obviously there's a lot of artists, they all need their spotlight, but we see so many shows, and, Paolo, you've been around a lot longer than me. I've been doing it for 5 years in music at this point, and, these guys, him and Narr8r, have been doing it over a decade, So it's, but you see so many shows where it's 12, 14, 16 artists, 10, 12 artists. I mean,
and you forget, you don't even remember artist 2 when you're into artist 16.
Yeah, it's oversaturated.
It just becomes that. And you that's great. That's a great forum if you just got a bunch of guys who are just starting off and you just want to get out there and you just want to break the ice. That's fine for that. Yeah, right. But after that, you get too many and you don't remember who's what, why, when. They all start bleeding together in your head. Right. No one remembers you.
Yep.
No matter how good you are. Yep. You know what I mean? And so
on those huge shows, you've got to be one of the first 5 acts.
Yeah, right.
You've got to be willing to step out first, and hopefully you are one of those first 5 acts.
Yeah, right.
Because otherwise, you're just going to get washed up amongst the crowd.
With the crowd who doesn't remember you. Yeah,
exactly,
right.
And then they're there. The rest of the show is there for the headliner. So. 1 through 5 in the headliner, and then you've got 20 other acts sometimes in between there that are just getting washed away, that we're all hoping to come out and catch some exposure, Now, granted, if they were in the room and working the room, networking, trying to, get their brand out there, they've probably established exactly that. They were able to accomplish that. But, a lot of guys are introverted, we don't want to, really release our, and connect that way, we're so into ourselves and, trying to get things going, that we forget to reach out, so, it's just really, we wanted to showcase bringing together those 4 artists so that, it isn't about that. We don't have to do that.
Yeah, right.
So.
Well, plus, it's a lot easier. It's a simplistic thing to go from 4 to 16 or whatever, 12 or however many it is. 4 is good, and you guys, as you do this more and more and more, this will become something that you guys will have down. It'll be like nothing. You guys will, and it'll be more fun. You'll be able to play off each other more often. Yes. All the hard stuff's over with. Now you guys got it down to a science.
Exactly.
How do you guys? What starts you guys off? We'll start with you, Eli. So how do you begin? What's your life like? You guys both from Cleveland area? I mean, did you start off around here from some day one?
So I grew up in old Brooklyn.
Okay.
Kiddie Park and all that. Yeah. All the good jazz. Kitty Park was lit, man. I wasn't a roller coaster guy, but I will get on any roller coaster at Kitty Park. You know,
I don't know, dude. That roller coaster messed me up. I would get on that stupid thing with my kids back when they were little, man, and I'd come off that thing and I'd be like,
I feel it. No, I mean, so I grew up in Brooklyn, you know, did Parma, Cleveland. So I've always been around. I started making music when I was like 17. But I was like freestyling. I had a guy who I lived like 5 streets down the way from me. So I would just walk over there and start freestyling.
So you started off rapping?
Yeah. I mean, and he the guy at the time was like, maybe you should take it a little more seriously and write. And my response was no. So I just kept doing my thing. You know, we had a falling out. You know, that's ironically.
Could you do it? I mean, were you good at it? You were a freestyler?
I thought I was all right. I mean, ironically enough, that's when I first started smoking the green stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So I thought I was amazing.
Yeah.
But so I did that for a little bit. I stopped because I wasn't, I guess like I felt maybe it wasn't for me. So I started getting into broadcasting school. At the time, I do Joey James. He started making music and kept sending me snippets. I paired him with his first feature. My dude Des at the time was making music. I was like, you guys should work together. So I thought maybe I should do behind the scenes in music. And then I started writing a little bit more. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna go to Signal Flow Studios and make a song. I had been talking to this guy Farrell at the time. He's was an engineer here, and he was like, hey, you can come record your song here. So I did that.
Is that how you got introduced to those guys? Was that your
Flow? Yeah.
Is that kind of how this whole thing started with this?
Well, no. So Paolo's a completely different story.
Well, no, I'm talking about you said because you started with Signal Flow, you got Narr8r connected with Signal Flow,
right?
So was that your introduction to the building here and meeting?
Oh yeah,
the
people? Building, absolutely.
Narr8r too. I mean, like yeah. That's when you met all that.
Yeah, Narr8r came back from California, and I remember meeting him for the first time. I had heard so much about him, so when I met him finally, I was like, I just want to pick your brain and learn so much about music, but I will stop and not fanboy out. So I just chilled out, because here I am. I've made music for maybe like 2.5 years. Still have no idea how to get my music on like streaming platforms besides SoundCloud. So I'm like really trying to figure things out. And Narr8r took me under his wing. Like he would come into my sessions with Pharaoh, listen when I was dropping an album on SoundCloud. He would come in. I would walk into the studio and be like, hey, can I get a beat? And he sold me one of, the first beats I bought off him was the first song I ever put on Spotify, and Apple Music and YouTube. So, we started doing cover arts, and then I really connected with Narr8r to the point now where like, he calls my dad Pops, and we hang out and, do things like that.
That's awesome.
So, yeah, Narr8r and me have been really close. And then, like I said, I met Paolo when I first started making music, and then we just started doing our own things. And long story short, we kind of just connected back with the show back this summer, and we met Vyse along the way, and the rest is history.
Now that's where we're at. How about you, Paul? What's your beginnings like? Where are you from originally?
Yeah, so born in New Jersey. Yeah. So long way from home, but this is home. I was born in there, raised here.
Time you come to Cleveland, how old are you about?
So my mom was always here. All over Ohio, actually. So down in Southern Ohio, Tip City, West Milton. And then while I was doing those moves, she moved up here. So from time I was about 6 or 7, I want to say, that's when I really rooted down in Cleveland. And prior to that, I was, Southern Ohio area.
Gotcha.
And then New Jersey, But music started for me back then in those days, listening to Beastie Boys and Coolio on tape and hearing those songs and becoming addicted, literally addicted, just repeat after repeat, running back, rewind the tape. And
you're only like 7, 8 years old at this point?
Yeah, exactly. I'm 6, 7 years old, jumping up and down on my hardwood floors trying to do
know all the words to all these songs, that kind of thing.
1, 2, 3, 4, get your... right. And there's me doing push-ups to that right there, as a young kid, thinking like that's what he means, like, I gotta get up on the floor.
It's all right. I thought Eminem's Mockingbird, that was the first CD I ever heard. My dad finally let me listen to rap music, and it was at his workout bench. I said, let me just hear it once. He shows me Mockingbird. I thought that song was just a pleasant song about a bird. I was like 8 years so don't feel no shame in the game. Eminem's Encore holds a special place in my heart because of Mockingbird. Yeah. A song I thought had a completely different meaning.
So it started back for me, way back then. the love and the passion for music. And then sitting in a car freestyling with a good friend of mine and, someone who I consider a brother. I just decided one day, I was like, you know what? I got to take this seriously. Like, there's no way I can hear this stuff coming out of the radio right now and not feel like I can do this too, you know, and produce something of better quality,
Yeah,
so
right.
that was my mind state. So it takes a little bit of ego to want to do this.
It does.
But and then in the same note, it takes so much humility to also do this, because you got to willingly give your heart and your art away to people and hope that they may find, affection and some sort of fucking peace with this.
I love that how you just said that, dude. It takes a certain amount of ego, but then a certain amount of humility, because people will chew you up too. Yes. Once you put yourself in that spotlight, you can get chewed up real quick by somebody, and there's one person don't like you. You just got to learn how to deal with that. Right. All right, real quick, we're gonna take a quick break.
Yes, sir.
We'll come back. We're gonna continue on with the rest of your story, because I want to hear everything that happened, man.
You got it.
We come back in a couple minutes here with the guys, Family Ties.
Yes.
Hi, everybody. This is my favorite waitress, Ashley. Okay, listen. She's going to tell you all about. We're at Brunswick, by the way. It's in Kensman, Ohio, right off of what is that, Route 7, right? Okay. And it's a golf course. I play golf here quite a bit. I eat here a lot. My favorite thing here is, what is my favorite thing? Do you know?
I'm going to say probably the baked chicken.
Yeah! You're awesome. And, but tell them what all you guys have here.
Okay, so we have an 18-hole golf course, beautiful course, and then we also have a restaurant. It has been family owned and operated since 1964. For the specials, you can always check out our Facebook. We post daily. But we have wing specials. We have an amazing prime rib and ribeye every Saturday. Comes with 2 sides for $17. We also have Friday night fish.
Yeah, baby.
Our beer battered fish is always a great hit. Comes with 2 sides and very affordable.
Yes, I'll vouch for the prime rib. I'm here if I can get here. And we also, we golf here. The course is very, very nice, very well maintenance. And they also have indoor golf. So if you guys, wintertime, you can go indoor golfing.
Yes, we have indoor golf. We also just opened up a driving range. And we also have darts. We have dart teams that come and perform right here in the dining room.
So if you get some free time, Brunswick Golf Course, Kensman, Ohio. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Hi, this is DJ Terry from the Homegrown Hit Show on 216 The Beat. If you're looking for something to do this week, check out comedian Michael Copenhaver at Knacker Jackson Warren on Monday, January 2nd. Or Saturday, January 7th, it's Grunge DNA downtown Cleveland at the House of Blues. But whatever you do, check out the Homegrown Hit Show on Monday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on 216 The Beat. Happy New Year, stay safe, support local music, and keep rocking. DJ Terry is out.
And we are back with the guys from Family Ties. We got Eli, we got Paula in here, and we were just talking to Paula about how he started off in his life as a kid and all that good stuff. So what happened next? Like, where are you at? You know where you're at.
Yeah. So, I was hearing this music back in, 2012, 2013, and I was saying to myself, like, there's no way that I can go any further in my life without attempting this and giving this my all. So in 2013, that's when I decided to record my first album. Paid a producer by the name of Ty Wink, my brother to this day, Quentin Mitchell. Shout out to him. But paid him to do my first album. Recorded
So
it.
before we missed the whole part here because you had to write the thing. So there's that part because I mean, like you don't just walk in and be like, all right, and then it just like so how does that? I mean, like you went in there. Is this a rap album you're doing the first one, or is this?
Yeah.
So you're doing hip hop right off the rip.
My humble beginnings started from rap. I always wanted to branch out, but until my later years. And I found comfort in my voice, and I was able to do that, and that's when I attempted it.
Okay.
But, early on, I started off as a rapper. I was recording off of a 6 little shelf, little cabinet thing in a room. We had the microphone friggin' duct taped to the top shelf, and, that's how we did it.
It worked.
It definitely worked. But, that's where I found my passion, that first album.
So when you come out and you're writing this first album you're writing, what are you writing about? What topics are you picking up on here, and what are you doing? What's your?
I came from the streets and a lot of madness. So that's
kind of like a gangster rap type of
exactly.
vibe.
So that's what you heard early on.
Yeah.
Me, talking about that, the drugs, the women. And
getting rich and the whole thing, man. Yeah,
exactly. I don't want to say too much, but
I mean that's
but
what you were talking about.
Exactly. That was my content back then, and I really. After hearing it for a few years, I really made an attempt to stray away from that. Like, why am I sounding like all of these other guys? How can I find my sound? Where do I branch out? How do I make me?
Yeah.
And that's all a part of the process. So it started from rap and writing those early dirty gritty rhymes. And with that, getting that out of my system, if it wasn't for that,
I get that, like a purge.
Exactly. I would have never been able to, even find, this part of me that you hear today, that gives you heart for handouts, and other songs that are coming out,
That's good. That's great. Yeah, that's cool. I get that. So it's almost like you just gotta like purge yourself clean of all this other stuff that's all like there.
Exactly.
But you're finding your way through this process right now, right?
Because let's be realistic. How many street guys come off the streets and then mentally make that switch and then can stay in that mode that are just being an artist.
It's very hard to do. You know who they are because they're the ones that make it. They know about them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's really a mental game. At that point, like, do I want to be a street guy? Do I want to hustle and fucking worry about who's coming?
Constantly looking over your shoulder
for the next, however long. Do I want to worry about going to jail every day? No, I don't. Let me take that energy that I was spending there and let me dump it into this music. And that's when I started branching out and exploring my sounds, and trying to fine tune, I should say, the thoughts I had in my head, because I wanted to take those rap lyrics and put them into the rock context and the
Are you listening to rock at this time too? I mean, are you into that?
Heavily. So I grew up on rock and roll, classic country,
No kidding.
Garth Brooks, Reba McEntire, like
the real popular shit that was around that time.
Yes, exactly.
Garth Brooks was huge.
Man, my dad man, Papa Moo loves some Garth Brooks. He had the old video player. My mom bought him for Christmas, and I remember coming down so many times. I'd be like, "What are you watching at 3 a.m? Garth Brooks." And man, love Garth Brooks, Paula.
Yeah, but very verse background when it comes to music and my intake of music. And it wasn't until I was 6, 7 years old that I was even introduced to rap. With the Beastie Boys and Coolio.
Yeah.
And after hearing that, I was hooked. So now you flash forward, we're mid 2000s, and you got Nelly, Lil Wayne, Drake is getting ready to, start hitting the scene at that point, and so now I'm seeing these guys that are, very, different in the spectrum, hit the scene, and it's like, oh man, yeah, now I can really, hone and move, and, Lil Wayne branching out and trying to do rock albums, seeing rap artists trying to do rock, it's like, oh man, this is it, like,
Yeah, it's cool.
I can really make a way here, so it wasn't just that I didn't necessarily have to fit myself into a box, and that was the beauty of entering into music and, and being a creative.
Yeah, you could do anything you wanted. You just didn't know it. Now you know it.
And now I know it,
Yeah.
So, it was a blessing in disguise. I grinded through that and got all that rap shit out of me. But it's still here.
Yeah, right.
It's still a part of me.
It's a piece now. It's not all of it.
Exactly. So, I still build and branch off of that, and if you listen to my records to this day, I'm still rapping, but it's just listen to my content and listen to my subject matter. We're not going there for that reason.
You're creating songs now. You're not just feeling as if you have to just like, well, I want to make a song, but it's got to fit into this context. It's got to be this. It's got to be that. Oh, I want to write about that, but I don't know how people will take that if I do it like that because I'm really a rapper. That's gone. Now you're like, this part feels punky. Like it needs a little punk part right here. Like it needs to pick up right here. And you know what? I heard this punk song. I like this one thing I heard. I'm going to try to make that fit here because I can.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And that's how you guys are just writing now, right? You've become way more diverse and you can do other things and you're creating a work and not a rap song.
Yeah, my favorite question is, what do you do when somebody asks? Like, I tell them, hey, I make music. I'm at my 9 to 5. I make music. Hey, check me out. 9 to 5 doesn't like it as much, but hey, always gotta be promoting. Like, what do you do? What do you do? That's like such a or do you rap? Like, those are just those questions always like make me laugh because it's like when I tell somebody, I rap, I make pop music, I'm working on a rock song. I've done a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I've done some disco stuff we're working on, me and Narr8r. It's like, it's so funny because I don't think you should have to.
Well, you don't.
To put yourself in one box and be like, oh, I just rap or I just do this. I think the day they tell me that I have to be in a box is the day I'll probably stop making music because I like being able to pick up something different every day and do something different and keep people on their toes because that's how I am in real life. I keep a lot of people on their toes, so I got to keep you on your toes in music.
Well, I mean, don't you think it's also kind of like if you're painting pictures as an art and you only have blue crayon, then you have a blue picture.
Always.
If you all of a sudden you have every color in the spectrum, the picture you create now is unlimited.
Yes.
Right.
It seems like that's what this has become. Like now people are realizing that there's all these different musics and then there's offshoots of different genres and stuff. And you can literally pick all these different things. You don't even have to really pick. It just really should just flow through you, right? Like
yes.
Whatever comes out, and you don't have to second guess it, I guess is what it really comes down to, right?
Yeah.
You're not second guessing yourself.
And I think it's, it's like, for me at least, like one of my biggest inspirations, like, is Prince. And Prince just did it. I figured as such. But, Prince is just like one of those guys that like, you have 1,000 X's and O's, He
was one of the first ones to really do this.
You have Purple Rain. I mean, you have like rock, you have rap,
well, he pulled out
hip-hop,
this, like. He's playing these pop songs, and then he pulls out the fucking guitar and rips this freaking metal solo. Like it's like, Rah! It's like, Rah! and I remember, and that was at that point, who did that?
Exactly.
I mean, who did that?
Yeah.
I mean, really, it was bizarre how he and he was that consummate musician. He was a musician.
Yep.
He didn't care about what he was writing. He just wanted to write great songs.
Yes.
And that sounds like what you guys are all about.
Exactly.
Yeah. And there was a mystique to it too, and that's kind of what I like, because I think. I like to kind of keep a little bit peeled back from the rest of the world. I'm a very out there person. Paula can relate. We went drinking 3-4 weeks ago when I was having a great time. I'm a very out there person. But there's a part of me that still kind of reels back a little bit because I don't think I want to give the whole Eli Moon away just yet. So I'm keeping a little bit in that back pocket of mine. And that's what I liked about Prince is like it always felt like he had still something else to give you.
Yeah, and then he would.
He
Then
never
would.
gave you everything, you know. So
let's get back to you for a second because you are now in the process of your whole life.
Yeah.
We're at the point where you realize what you want to do.
Yeah, exactly. So that I found my sound finally with a song like Achilles Heel. I released that a few years ago, and that was like really me standing on, taking the rap and throwing it into this rock spectrum, this punk alt spectrum, and we were just talking about it, like I don't think you can call all rappers just strictly a rap artist, because here we are today. I look at Narr8r, I look at Moon, and Vyse, he started out as a rapper, but if you listen to any of our music to this day, I don't think you can call us like a rap artist,
right.
because of where the music goes.
Yeah, right.
And the energy that it gives you. And that's, really where I was moving at that point in time. And, now I have a track called Heart for Handouts, and that's out everywhere. And, that time frame from Achilles Heel to Heart for Handouts, really gave light to my lane and my path, where I wanted to travel with. And then with all that happening all at once, and then, meeting these guys along the way, it was just sort of, all culminating and meant to be. And so grateful for that, first and foremost, I gotta say that, because without any of these experiences, what is the music? It's just a beat.
Right.
All you're gonna hear is
right. Just like it just sounds like everything else you've ever heard.
You're just gonna hear the instrumentation, you know. So you need life experiences and all that to fuel the music. And really, as I was growing as a creator, I started honing in on trying to tell a story more as opposed to just writing from a feeling standpoint.
I got you.
As that, instead
Did
of
you like create characters and all that kind of thing in these stories and kind of tell the whole story that way?
Exactly. Like if pick a topic, and then how do I take each point? I pick 3 points on that topic, and then how do I discuss these things in 4 to 6 sentences?
Yeah.
That's how. And then once I have those sentences in my mind, now I'm breaking it down into lyrics and lines, and
flow and rhyming if it needs to be.
Exactly. So the process started out with a lot of just immediate release and expulsion, and has grown into a true thought process now, and without the years of attempting to try and find such a thing, I would have never been here, so it took those early years of just immediately hearing something like, oh, okay, it's got to come out just like this, boom, and then getting it out there. It took all that trying to get here where we're at today. And
which is a cool thing what you guys are doing right now. I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, like, and it comes. One of the reasons why I wanted to get into what you guys what got you to this point is because that's what this is all about. How do you guys get to a point where 4 of you guys are willing to kind of share the stage? Which is kind of what you're doing. You're not really making it about me, because at the same time that you're up there, you're also pointing to your other 3 guys.
Yes.
Like you guys are also saying, yeah, but there's these guys too. Don't forget about these guys.
Right.
And so it takes a whole bunch of stuff for you to get that way, to become that person, You guys are good people. You guys have done what you've done already. You guys, made your pass. And now it's time to freaking try to do something bigger and better. It seems like that's what this whole thing's about. Like the way you make music is that, you start off, well, I know this, I want to do this. And as you grow and learn more, you're like, no, I want to do this. I want to do all of this. I want more than just, most people just go out and they might have a guest with them or, one act with one guest, and that person doesn't even really see each other very often. They don't intermingle with each other. They just, one guy goes on stage and the next guy. But no, you guys are like, no, this is bigger. This is better. This is gonna resonate with people better too, right?
Yes, exactly.
Don't you think that like when people see that you guys, the camaraderie and all that kind of stuff between you, people like that kind of stuff. You know,
Yeah.
they get off on that, watching that kind of thing. Fans from stuff, they pick up on all this kind of stuff, right? I mean,
Yeah, I mean, and you see like Odd Future. I mean, like that's a big influence of mine. Like I loved Odd Future. Tyler the Creator, Earl Sweatshirt, Frank Ocean. All those guys were just all together, and they loved making good music. But if you listen to Earl Sweatshirt and you listen to Frank Ocean, and you listen to Earl Sweatshirt and Tyler the Creator, they had different sounds still, and that's kind of like with Family Ties, like. Paula and me, we have a similar message where it's like, love, and just expressing who you are. It's okay not to be okay. Narr8r in the same light. If you're drawing a Venn diagram or whatever, you have that middle piece. The one middle piece that we all, 4 of us have is like that love and understanding for other people. And I think that's important. And I think, like you said, like seeing that talent, embracing other talent is like what people like to see. So you have a great message, and you have talent embracing the other talent.
Yeah.
And what else is there not to like about it?
right.
So
I do have a question for you, Eli.
yeah,
So as I'm doing research on you guys,
Yeah.
I find that there's another guy named Eli Moon.
That guy.
So
I don't know.
so I'm like. This gets a little confusing. And you're not the only artist that has this issue. There's a lot of these issues that happen with artists in general, especially band names.
Right.
There's like a band name, and then there's 10 bands across America that have that same name. Right. So in the world of computers and search engines and stuff like that, you put in Eli Moon, he's the first guy that comes up.
I know, that's crazy.
I'm
It shouldn't be that way. Shouldn't be that way. If anybody's out there watching that can correct that, correct it. Get my
We need the
SEO.
SEO.
up.
Come on.
We need that SEO.
What's up with that? I mean, does it just irritate the hell out of you that this is going on? It sounds like you're just irritated by it.
I mean, if I need a reason to get pissed off on like a Tuesday afternoon, I just go look at that.
You just put your name in the search engine.
So whenever I'm showing people too, I'm like, all right, type in Eli Moon. Hold on, you're with me. Let me just type in my name. Show you. You want the one with the logo, like the one on my hat.
Yeah, right.
You don't want the other one. And they're like, okay. I'm like, I'm gonna beat him to the top, so don't worry. I will be Eli Moon. But it's like that is part of my name. My first name's Elijah, last name's Mooney Ham. 3 animals: cow, horse, pig, Mooney Ham. I mean, I don't know where. Maybe his name is also Elijah Mooney. I mean, that would be. We'd have a completely different dilemma on our hands, but I don't know. It upsets me a little bit, but at the end of the day, it's like I'm gonna make sure my name is known, and I'm.
Is it driving you a little bit? Does it a little bit?
Yeah.
Does it like piss you off like a fire under you?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of frustrating when my own girlfriend has to like promote me and be like, "All right, but make sure you're looking for this one," because there's like 2 that pop up. It's all right though, because I'll be making some big moves here in 23. And
Is that you're gonna just go right by?
Yeah,
And that's the end of it.
Yeah, we're making some big moves. I mean, I've been working. Me and Paul have been talking the last month about some big moves. Me and Narr8r have been talking about potentially dropping an EP here relatively soon.
Oh, cool.
I don't know when, but we're thinking about doing something with that. So I'm planning on making some big moves in 2023. I'm ready to get my flowers. I've been doing this for 5 years. Paula's got his flowers, which I'm happy with. iHeart. He's gonna keep getting his flowers. Narr8r's getting his flowers with a lot of things he's doing. The BeatStars battle, all these different things he's doing and incorporating into the community. With guys like Flower Boy. Vyse is doing his thing, and I'm ready to get my flowers. I've been doing this for 5 years. I'm ready to eat it up now. So
awesome, dude. So what do you guys? What's the future look like right now? So what does the future look like? You guys got any? What's
So we're looking at trying to take the Family Ties Collective on national tour next year. So we've got a lot of things going on behind the scenes right now. A lot of talks with some very big promoters. And
now, would it just be you 4 on this bill, and there's nobody else?
No. So that's the thing. It's we're open to completely just opening up a show, as long as we can take the brand Family Ties. I
understand.
And all 4 of us and get us out there. I don't care who the fuck.
So if you could attach to a bigger act, it's to get out to a bigger audience right now. Exactly. So be it. That's what you'll do. You just don't want to get on one of those bills where you're 4 of 12.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
I get it.
Like we some direct tour support. That's like ideal. We could 4 acts, 2 main acts, boom. You got yourself a dope show. So
that's sweet.
That's what we're looking for. Right now. So we'll see where it takes us.
So just people just need to keep their eyes open for Family Ties. That's what you guys will. When it happens, that's what you'll put it up as.
Yeah.
Right. It'll be Family Ties, and it'll have your individual names underneath it.
Yes.
And that's what people should be looking for if they want to come out and see this.
Yeah.
And if they want to hear the stuff, it's not going to be like Family Ties is the artist to go listen to. It's individually you guys will be putting your music out.
Exactly.
Right. I mean,
Unless you guys do something collectively, and then that's something different altogether.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, but we're in that avenue. I know we touched on it earlier, where you could see in the future a song with me and Paula and Vyse. Me and Narr8r have done music in the past, but you can see another one of those combos, him and Vyse.
I got you.
We're working.
That's awesome.
So we're it's just really taking, like I said earlier, all 4 of our own individual brands and exposing them to as much and as many people as possible. Hopefully next year we can get out on a national tour so that we can, get outside of, this 300-mile radius that we've been living in for the past couple of years,
Yeah.
and really branch out, and start touching some different markets. Because that's what it's about. How can you grow if you're not getting out there and touching these markets and these potential fans?
For sure. All right, guys, that's it. I think we're gonna wrap it up right there, man.
Perfect.
I want to thank you guys seriously for coming.
Yeah,
Thank you for having us.
Family Ties. Remember, you got Narr8r, you got Eli Moon,
Yep.
King Pala from the PA to the LA. I'll never get that out of my head. And Vyse.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
And that's the 4. So look for those guys, man. Look for the Family Ties thing. And when it happens, you want to go out and see this? I think it's going to be sweet, man. I think what you guys are fun. I know that much. You guys are a blast to talk to.
Hey,
I won't forget
dope
this
show.
one.
Even better show. I
Yeah.
promise.
All right.
It's an honor to be on the show, honestly.
Thank you,
I've been
man.
watching since you guys pretty much have started up, so I'm glad to be sitting here where I've been watching.
Hell yeah. You'll be watching this one.
Yes.
Yeah, I will.
I hope you don't watch the other ones and not this one. All right, guys, that's it from us, man. Thanks again for coming.
Thank
We'll
you
see
for
you
having
guys
us.
next week.
Love.
Hello, Cleveland. I am ZM Delgado, author of the Rust Belt Rock Review at ZachoLantern.com, and this is your weekend concert calendar update. First on the agenda, Friday, January 6th at Vortex, you can check out Nightmare Empire. In support, they're bringing out Convey the Signs, Storms of Tomorrow, and Voltan. Up next, Saturday the 7th, we've got ourselves a free show down at the Grog Shop. Our bands, Axioma, OSI and Jupiter, and Blind Spring. There you have it, Cleveland. Some pretty good shows on our weekend calendar. I hope to see you out there. Until next time, rock on, Rust Belt.
That'll be fine.